The money is good, yeah. Are you recording this?
Yes. Hello everyone, my name is Adu and this is Ready Go Expat. My first job in China was at a language school, or as they call training center. And it was great, it was an amazing experience. I worked there for a year and I want to share with you my experience working at a training center, and I also invited some friends who also worked at training centers in China to share their opinion and the pros and cons of working in a training center, a language school in China. Ready? Go! In 2015, when I applied for my first job in China, this was by far the most popular option. There were training centers all over the country with salaries going from 10,000, 8,000 RMB up to 28,000 RMB. So a lot of options, wide variety of options. Training centers where you teach mostly kids, others where you teach a mix of like kids, teens, and adults. That was my case. I think my students are like about 50% kids and teens and about 50% adults, which was great. I was used to teaching, all these levels. Beginner students, but also more advanced students. I taught business English as well, so it varies a lot. The good thing about training centers, I think, is the pay. You can get really decent pay if you work at training centers. The hours are not the best things. That's the best thing I'd say, because most training centers, you would have to work on our weekends. You would have to work on Saturday and Sunday, perhaps have Monday, Tuesday off. In my case, I had Sunday, Monday off, okay? But I worked on Saturdays, for example, from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m., all right? And that's really common because that's when they can actually attend, extra classes. But it's very important for you to look into like the number of hours, because sometimes you have like up to 25 hours or up to 25 classes. That's really important. You look, you check. Also, make sure that you check the extra activities that you have when you're working in a training center, because sometimes you have to take part in like extracurricular activities, evening activities, morning activities, weekend activities. So that's also very important. But I say, in general, overall it was a very good experience working at a training center in China.
It's been great in terms of making relationships with kids, getting to see how families work, talking with parents, sometimes with a translator, and sometimes directly when our language skills is in a place where we can exchange. It was a great window into the Chinese family. What are their particular dreams for their kids? What kind of skills do they have to work on?
The pros are good money, and like we were talking about, like low cost of living. So it's like good money. It's an easy job. Like you can, for my experience, it's been easy because I teach like little kids, so I don't have to like do research and stuff like to teach this is an apple, It's a very easy job. Like you go in, you have the curriculum. Once you're familiar with it, you like barely need to plan anything, get your materials, teach the classes. It's easy. And you get to know people that you work with, other foreign teachers. So that's nice. And you get to work with Chinese as well. And the work culture here is like completely different, and I think it's very useful to know how to work in that environment. The cons would be that working in a training center is it's like working in a mall. Like their purposes are not educational, it's all for profits. So it's kind of like soulless at its core. And it's your job to bring soul to it in your relationship with the kids. But it can be like really hard to maintain, to carry that burden, I guess. Like, I don't know. And sometimes it feels like really dishonest. It feels like you're being dishonest to the parents. Like, just because I speak English does not mean I am a foreign expert, It doesn't mean that I know how to fix all of your problems or teach your kid English in 2 weeks. Like, they won't be fluent, they won't have an American accent, blah, blah, blah. And I think the main con for me is like, goes along with the dishonesty thing. Like, a lot of foreign teachers can't say where they're really from. A lot of training centers don't hire brown or black people or non-native speakers, even though they have more to offer when it comes to the process of learning English as a second language or a foreign language. So yeah, I would say like that's one of the things that is like a big negative for me.
The money is good. The hours sometimes are good if you're doing part-time, because you can choose when to work and when not to work. But also, like, if you are a real educator, somebody who like it's into teaching and stuff, you know, you see that like their values or things that they want to achieve as a training center is not what you want to achieve as an educator. So it conflicts a little bit, you know, because it's more profit oriented out, I think, in most training centers in China. Yeah, so the money is good, teaching quality not so good, hours are good, and I think it's almost something that almost anybody who speaks English can do, which is really good for a lot of foreigners, that to be able to live here and travel and experience China, you need to make some money, and that's like an easier way to make money, yeah.
And if you're thinking about moving to China and working there and getting a job as an English teacher, make sure to check this playlist with all the information, testimonials, pros and cons of getting a job in China as an English teacher. I'll see you next time.